Look, life is about decisions. I have a family member who I don't even he's a cousin of mine, but we don't have a relationship, right? He's a younger cousin, and about 10 years older than he is, and I see him occasionally at different family events and things of that nature. But again, we don't really have a strong relationship. Well, he just reached out to me for a substantial amount of money because he said he couldn't pay his rent. Now, and I'm talking about substantial, I'm talking about several thousands of dollars because he's on the verge of being evicted. Now, some background. He was working for a company. He got injured on a job. He hurt his finger. I believe the top of his finger was taken off. Top of his pinky finger, like around the fingernail part. On a job injury, he was injured, okay? He's been on work comp for several months. But then I was told that he stopped going to his work comp appointments. And now he's not off work comp and he doesn't want to go back to work. He has a very lackluster work history. He does everything in his power to not work, And on top of that, his rent is only $600 a month. And then he has a roommate, another cousin of mine. It's his roommate. So his rent is $300 a month. And he has one child that he takes care of who lives with his mother. And he's behind $3,500 in rent. Life is about decisions. We all have enough problems. We all have problems. You live long enough, you're going to have problems. We all have problems. I never met a man or woman who didn't have a problem. It's how you handle those problems will determine whether you progress in life or where you stay stagnated. And I told him, hey, I got problems, dude. And I don't need any more problems. And what you're trying to do is make your problem my problem. My mortgage is quite substantially more than your rent. Quite substantially more. But I go here every day and I work. Even when I don't feel like working. I've been working for over 30-something years. Yeah, I've been working over 30-something years. I've been working since I was 13 years old. And I had to work because I wanted things in life. But one thing I was taught by my parents, and believe this, I caught more than I was taught. And one thing I was taught by my mom and my dad, and I grew up in my parents got divorced, so I grew up in a single mother home, but my dad was always in my life. But one thing I was always taught, was that you always put your needs before your wants. You need to pay your rent or your mortgage or you'll be homeless. You want a nice car, make sure you take care of all your responsibilities. And if you can afford a nice car, which is a want, not a need, if you need a car, just get a car. But if you want a nice car, then you have to plan for it. But you always put your needs before your wants. And one thing you always do is pay your rent or your mortgage because you don't want to be homeless. Now, he made a choice to not pay his rent for 4 or 5 months. He sends me the letter where the landlord says she's going to evict him by the 15th of this month if he don't come up with $3,500 plus the $600 he owes in December. He's almost $4,000 in the hole. And he was getting workers' comp. He was getting workman's comp because he was injured on a job. And my cousin lives with him. So in essence, his rent was $300 a month. You telling me you can't pay $300 a month in conjunction with your cousin who's renting from you and pay your $600 rent? Makes no sense. Now you jacked up and now you're on the verge of being evicted and you want to come to a cousin who you really don't have a relationship with and ask for $3,500. I told him what you need to do is start a GoFundMe. And the problem is, if I gave him the money today, it will only band-aid the problem because the problem is his mind. It's a mindset. And he'll have his rent paid, and then 6 months down the road, he'll be back in the same situation. It's about his mind. The Bible says, so as a man thinketh, he is. You think yourself to be poverty, you'll be impoverished. You think yourself to be wealthy or have a good life standing, good life situation, paying your bills, you will. Now, I'm not giving them the money. I told him, I'm not giving you the money. You know, I don't have money sitting around just to pay your rent because you made a decision not to pay your bills. It's not like he has a health problem or ailment, that's something going on that he like, hey, he needs help. He's in dire straits. It's a health condition or whatever. He needs this money. No, he just chose not to pay his rent. And when he got himself back against the wall, his landlord has been very, has been very helpful. The landlord let you go almost 5 months without paying rent, and they still evict you after 2 or 3 months. You have a very generous landlord. So, told him, start a GoFundMe. But you're not going to make your problem my problem.